Yo, what's up, Chaos TV family? What's up, Chaos TV Network? What's up, Chaos? And it's your boy, Chaos Hero. My apologies. Good morning to you all, and what a beautiful sunny day it is on a Friday. Now, today is a special day, especially I want to be on a Sunday, and especially a Saturday Sunday, as y'all join y'all weekend. If you guys are going to card shop tournaments or card shops to play Pokemon, in my opinion, this is the perfect Solgaleo skill type deck build that I can actually do. If you haven't seen my top down throwdown, this deck is basically a full-on skill type. It has like one psychic type in it, which is Cosmog and Cosmo. But other than that, let's get into the deck profile. It's fun, it's awesome, it's really defensive, but at the same time, it's decently offensive. Okay, so first things first, we're gonna get into the energies. I run 17 energies, so that means I run 13 normals for basics. And four specialty shield energies. You only need 4 energies. The reason why I run 2 of these is they do 10 less damage, allow you to take 10 less damage from any opponent's Pokemon. It works perfectly against Psychic decks, so you can take 10 less damage. As far as main deck concerns, as far as trainer cards and everything else, I only run 3 stadium cards. I run 2 Altars of the Sun. Sorry about that. And 1 Steel Shelter. I might be taking out 1 Altar of the Sun and putting another Steel Shelter in. But so far, it seems that Altar of the Sun is doing an okay job. Better than Steel Shelter. But my suggestion to you is it's an option to you. Y'all do anything, but it's my option to you. If you want to do Altar of the Sun, kudos to you, do you, big dog. I really don't care, but I will let you know it only does support both steel and fire types. If you're going against the fire type deck, you might want to use it because this deck is superly heavily affected by fire types, and my suggestion to you is use that to your advantage, as well as ground types. I think there only is a couple of Pokemon in this deck that are weak to ground type. No, they're pretty much all weak to pretty much all weak to fire type. Skill type Pokemon that is. So I would probably side deck Altar of the Sun. Just side deck it. And just get 2 copies of Steel Shelter. So if you want to switch out, the stadium cards, you can. That's just my suggestion if you want to. But I do run 1 Steel Shelter and 2 Altars of the Sun just in case I come across a fire type deck. I run 2 Professor Kukuis. I always run 2. The reason why, because he's a great hand fodder. This deck, one of the cards in this deck actually thrives off of you getting a very big hand later on in the game. And this card right here can help you. And on top of that, basically all my Pokemon can deal 10 times the damage. 20 times the damage on that turn that I use this card. So it's a great attack boosting card, and also gets you great hand presence in mid game or probably early game. And last but not least, for support cards, I always keep 3 copies of my boy Hal. Hal is basically, if you get a busted hand that you can't really use, he's like your kind of second chance to get an actually pretty decent hand if he's not ending up if 3 of him or 2 of him is not even in the prize card bin. If you can get to him, if you can at least get to 2 of him, probably first draw, you probably got some good momentum. You could probably start off with some good momentum and probably get some decent momentum in there. I know he's a generic support card, but he's a really good generic support card. He really is. And I honestly, you can't go wrong with him. You really can't go wrong with him. Honestly, you really can't. So I always keep 3 of him. Then, right now, I run 1 copy of Evo Soda, and Evo Soda is only for if I can't get to Solgaleo and he's somewhere in the deck. and I hope he is, because I only run two Solgaleo GX in this deck. If he's in the deck, I can. If I already have Cosmoem out, I can just play this, add Solgaleo, evolve him right off the bat. But I might be running two. But then again, I don't want to clog up the deck, so I only run one, because Evo Soda is a good card that you can draw. But like when you already have something and you don't already almost have anything, you don't want to draw into that. So at the same time, it's like, okay, I'm glad to get you. At the same time, I don't want a lot of you in the deck, so I only run one. That's the reason why I only run one Evo Soda. Then I always have two Nest Balls. Nest Balls allow me to basically search for the Pokemon. Basically, it's a quick search if I already have Cosmo, Solgaleo, or Metang, or Beldum. Metang or Metagross in my deck, or I might want to search for my Scizor EX. I can easily search for it with these two cards. It's an easy, basic Pokemon search. You don't have to flip a coin. You don't have to do anything. You just search for it and put it to the bench. That's about it. Then there's a secondary item card. Two copies of Timer Ball. I usually keep two copies of Timer Ball, like I said, for the oppositional option. Let's say if I have Cosmo and Beldum and I don't have any evolutions for them. If I have one or two of these in my hand, if I'm looking to have to get two of these in my hand on the same turn, I can activate them both, get flip 2 coins. If I'm lucky enough to flip 4 coins in a row, and I've made this play several times before, I can basically just get my Metang and also my Metagross in my hand, as well as my Cosmo and Cosmog into the and Solgaleo in my hand. Which is a really good power play. That's why I only run 2 of these. I might think about running 3 of these, because I might take out one of my Altars of the Sun and put in Steel Sanctuary or what have you. It's really optional. It's very utility. I also run 2 Switch. Switch is a very good card, and it works in play with one of the other cards that I have. Just to let you know, I will tell you this. An ability like like Solgaleo GX's ability, which is, I believe it's called, hold on, let me look at it, Ultra Road. Basically, this ability is a really good ability, but if I want to use it to move, I can't really switch it in. And one of the cards actually benefit from being switched in from the bench to the active zone that very turn. And if I have this card in my hand along with that Pokemon, I can actually really make a huge power play, and it deals out a lot of damage. I'll show you later. I'll explain later why I have 2 of those. And for one of those for item cards, I only have one Rescue Stretcher for reasons, and one Energy Recovery, which I might be taking out because I actually kept in Rescue Stretcher for a Steelix EX. At the time before I put Evo Soda in here, I did run Steelix EX for the brick wall effect, even though it was a huge risky play because I gave my opponent the momentum of getting 2 prize cards instead of 1. I kind of took that risk, but I sat down and talked to my friend, Prey Mark 9. You all know him, and I took out. He kind of convinced me to put Evo Soda in place of Steelix EX, even though Steelix EX is a really good card. I mean, it's a really busted card. So I probably won't have any use for him as of yet anymore, because I haven't really found any further use of even keeping this card. The only reason why I keep this card is because of hand fodder, because of Metagross EX, because you don't really need him or use him. I mean, you don't really need this card, so I just keep it in my hand because it makes one of Metagross's moves strong enough. It's called Machine Gun Stomp, which you'll probably see in a few minutes. Now, as far as Pokemon is concerned, non-elemental type Pokemon, I only keep running this deck, which you already know. 2 standard basic Cosmoems. You can easily find these in the structure deck, or you can go online. They're probably like, I think, 50 cents, probably 49 cents on Yugi Mint, or probably Amazon. They're really cheap to get your hands on. They're really not that expensive. I like its move. I like its one move because it allows you to draw on each turn you use it. That and the fact that it's pretty cool because, like I said, it's like basically an extra draw. Like you play your boy Hal, attach a steel type energy to this thing, then you get another draw. So it's like drawing on top of draw. This is all this deck is. It's just drawing, building up your hand to where you get some momentum, even if you have some bad momentum. And then it's evolutionary form, which is in stage 1. I always run 2 copies of Cosmoem. Yes, I know this is a risky play to run 2 copies instead of 3, as well as Cosmog, but it actually does really good. If you see my last episode of Top Down Throwdown, I managed to get into both of my Cosmogs and Cosmoems, luckily. But at the same time, Teleport is a good move. It's a free switch. Like I said, this deck bases itself off of switching. If I have my Cosmoem and I already have my Caesar out, my Cosmoems already took a decent amount of damage. It's probably living, it's probably surviving off of that, and my opponent doesn't luckily have ways to attack my back row, my bench Pokemon. I can easily just play Teleport, switch it out, throw out my Caesar EX, use Gale Thrust, and it does 60 more damage plus on top of the 50. So it's a pretty good card, and I like this. And then I only run 2 copies of Solgaleo GX. Now, Solgaleo GX is a busted move. Like I said, this power play with Solgaleo GX and as well as Cosmoem, plus with the switch card, runs around only 1 card in this deck. And if it wasn't for that, I really wouldn't be adding Switch in or using Cosmoem's move. I'd just be using him to go straight into Solgaleo, which is Caesar. Caesar is the main power play that you want to do, especially if you want to get rid of one of your opponent's Pokemon. It's a huge trouble. It already took a decent amount of damage. Ultra Road is a decent ability. It's really cool. It's really awesome. Once per turn during your turn. Sorry about that. Something fell over in the background over there. For up to basically before you attack, you may switch your opponent's. You may switch your active Pokemon with a Pokemon on your bench. So basically, it says before the battle phase, switch you out. And I didn't even know this. It's like they preemptively gave this card. It's like they said, you know what? This card needs to work with something, and it has to work with something. And I felt like this was like an Arceus scent for all steel types. Like, yeah, you can use Switch. I mean, I'm pretty sure people use Switch for Caesar EX a lot of times. But Solgaleo, I think this version of Solgaleo GX was meant. Like, I think it was like purely meant for Scizor EX. It works so well for Scizor EX because if you don't know anything about Scizor EX, you have all you need is 3 energies. 3 energies. Matter of fact, all you need is 2 energies on that thing. And it's just basically a decent powerhouse. It's not going to be like OP one-shotting anything, but it's going to do real decent damage. Especially with this combo with Solgaleo's ability. You can easily switch him in, Gale Thrust, bam, 50 damage, bam, 60 damage. That's like 110 damage right off the bat without anything. Now let's say if you want to play Professor Kukui and then be like, okay, I play Professor Kukui, draw 2 cards, I have 2 cards in my hand, bam, also it does 20, any Pokemon that turn that doesn't, that basically enters the battle phase, does 20 more damage. So if I had Solgaleo out on the field, with his ability, I have Scizor in the bench pile, waiting to just really wreck my opponent. He has 2 energies on him. I use Ultra Road. Ultra Road switches in Caesar. Caesar, I tell Caesar to use Gale Thrust. Gale Thrust does 60 more damage, which is 110. That'll be 130 damage. So it basically recycles over itself. And, it's really cool. And on top of that, I can just attach a special energy to him that makes him take 10 less damage. And, if I'm good, like I said before, if I'm going against a fire type deck, I have no weaknesses. It's just neutral damage because, guess what? Basically, Alter the Sun. That's what I said. Alter the Sun is an optional card to have. You don't have to put it in the steel type deck, but it is a really good card to have if you're going up against fire types. It is really good. So you can switch it out with Steel Sanctuary or also Alter the Sun. That's why I said side deck 2 copies of Alter the Sun and also Steel Sanctuary. You never know when you might need them. Now, for 3-stage evolution cards, I do keep these as my last resort power hitter. If my original power play doesn't work, I keep 3 copies of Beldum. It's a really good card. 3 copies of Matang, and these are the standard Matangs because I don't use these are the Alolan Matangs. I know what you're thinking. Why didn't you use the Kalos Mega Evolution Series Matangs Chaos? Well, I'm gonna explain to you because Core Beam is a decent move, and that's one of the reasons why I'm going to be probably running Energy Recovery or Energy Retrieval in this deck because of Core Beam. Because you never know when you might need Core Beam. I've rarely had to use Core Beam because most of the time I'd always get Metagross in the hand. Now, as far as Metagross, I always use the Ancient Origins series Metagross because this card does do great things and it's really, really dope. I don't run tool cards, so his Delta ability, his Delta Double ability, doesn't really do anything for me, and I really don't use it at all. But his first attack, Machine Gun Stomp, dear God, this card is beast, especially in combo with Professor Kukui or my boy Hal. Basically, it does 20 plus damage, basically, to how many cards you have in your hand. Now, say if you already got your power play set up, you can't get in Solgaleo. Bam, you got in Metagross. He has 4 energies onto it. Also, side note, fun fact, I think I might be running double energy, double colorless. I don't know, right as of now. But I will probably be getting 2 copies of double colorless energy because I might need to run that in this deck. But as far as anything else, like I said, this card right here, Machine Gun Stomp, does immense amounts of damage. It does very good mitigated residual damage along with it. So let's say if I play my boy Hal, I draw 3 cards. I already got like 3 cards in my hand. That's 60 damage plus on top of that 20. So that's 100 damage even. I don't know if the hand limit in this game is limited, but from what I know is if you just start off with a good decent hand, like say, I don't know, 7 cards in your hand, that's doing more. It's like about 110. I don't know. But like I said, this is a really good card. Machine Gun Punch. His second move, Guard Press. Oh my God! During your opponent's next turn, any damage done to this Pokemon by attacks is reduced by 20 after applying weakness and resistance. So let's say this: you play Alter the Sun, and you're going against a Fire type deck. You play Alter the Sun. You attach one special energy, shield energy, to this Metagross. Or let's say if you're going for balls to the wall, defensive Iron Wall play, which I like to do a lot, and put 2 shield energies onto this thing. That's 20 less damage plus on top of 20 less damage. Then on top of that, you have no weaknesses. So that means that Flamethrower Typhlosion or Earth Power Typhlosion is not doing damn near crap to you unless it does immense amount of damage. Which means you're basically sitting up here for a good time, and you're basically lasting for days. Now, I would do a risky play where I'd probably run a tool card. If I wanted to, I'd just only take out 1 Altar of the Sun and put in 1 Altar of the Sun and 1 Steel Shelter. That'd be a risky play, and then just put leftovers on this thing, probably. I don't know. And you can sit up here and live for days with this Metagross. And there's a reason why this dude is a pseudo. And on top of that, I love the card art. It looks so awesome. Looks so rough, brutal, and tight. Metagross is my favorite pseudos. And if any steel types, along with Solgaleo and basically Scizor, those are my only favorite steel types. Well, along with Steelix too. Steelix was my favorite steel type. He was actually the first steel type that I actually liked. And last but not least, for your EX power hitting combos, the combo with Solgaleo GX is Scizor EX. Scizor EX, I will literally let you know, if you get it off the first turn, if you draw it on the first turn, keep him in your hand. If you do not have Solgaleo GX in the bench, ready to go into the action zone, do not play him. Do not play him at all. Because, honestly, in my opinion, that's the only reason why he's useful for. Ultra Road, Switch, or Teleport is the only reason why you should have Scizor in the bench fully ready to go with 2 energies, ready to use that Gale Thrust to do some decent mitigated damage. And then on top of that, if you want to, you can actually put a shield energy on him. Even though he has 170 HP, so that shield energy could do some good maneuvers for him, especially if you put 2. But my suggestion is you just put 2 regular steel energies on it. But other than that, like I said, it's a really good card. Its Gale Thrust ability is so dope. Its Steel Wing ability is pretty good, especially if you're running, like I said, Altar of the Sun. You have no weaknesses. You don't take that much from fire type moves, and let's just say you have one shield specialty steals type energy on it. That means you don't only take minus 30 damage from anything. Then on top of that, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm still living. I'm still here. Like, I'm not taking that much damage. I may be at 30, probably 90 HP, but I'm still there. I'm still here. I can just easily use switch. Bam, switch out into Leo. Use Ultra Road again. Bam, switch out into my bad, Caesar EX, and then use Gale Thrust again, does 60 more damage plus mitigated damage. And let's say if I played Professor Kui, so that does 60 plus 20, that's 130 damage right there. So you're doing power plays. This deck is built off of making heavy hitting power plays. Now, as far as recovery, this deck has little to barely none recovery. If your opponent literally knocks off your momentum just at least once, unfortunately, you're no offense, you're basically up a creek without a paddle, and honestly, it's a real big letdown. But like I said, this has been my deck profile on my Solgaleo Steel Mayhem Strike deck profile. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you haven't seen that top down throwdown, the 1-round match between my fiance Lady Hero with her Fairy Garden deck versus this deck. Now, like I said, she didn't make a lot of pro plays. She didn't make a lot of good plays. But like I said, give her a nice, warm Chaos TV family welcome. And I'm pretty sure y'all will enjoy her and literally have fun on this channel as much as I do. She hasn't been in the game for a while. She has been a fan of the series, as well as Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. It's just that she doesn't play as often because she's usually busy. Other than that, I'm your boy Chaos Hero. And I just jumped out the Chaos to show you an awesome deck profile. I'm out! Also, guys, be sure to stay tuned. Have a new deck profile on my fiance's deck as well, Fairy Gardens, which should be an interesting deck profile. This is her personal build. Like I said, she doesn't build competitive, and a lot of players don't play competitively, so I don't expect this deck to take you to Worlds or anything. This is just for her fun build because there are Pokemon that she likes in this deck that she put in. Don't ask me why, but this is her strategy. This is what she wanted to do. Other than that, boy Chaos, peace.